Hi, I'm Elaine Ewing, and I'm here for my Instagram Live series, Understanding My Research Process. And today I'm going to be going through a little collection of mine and tell you a little bit about it, and also give you a little tour of my handles collection. Hi Joseph, hi Sean, hi Dolly, hi everybody, hi Brooke, hi Joanne, hi Vicky. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Hi Regina, hi Rachel. So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and then I'll get started. Hi Rosalie. So I have my series that I've been working on, Understanding My Research Process, and I've been going through a different topic each week about research that I've done and things that I've done and how I went about doing it, and suggestions as how other people can do it too, and different things about how to cite your research and how to purchase archival Pilates pictures for your studio, all kinds of things like that. So today's topic is a little collection that I have, which is my vintage exercise handles collection. So the reason why and how I got started in collecting these is because I was doing one of the work weekends at Sean Gallagher's property, which used to be Joseph Pilates property in the Berkshires, where he has a lot of original apparatus from Joe. And one of the things that he has original is Joe's original arm springs. And also attached to those arm springs happened to be the original handles that Joe used and had. So I was like fascinated by them, right? And Sean has them and he uses them. And it is a little weird, Joseph. Okay, whatever, that's fine. I mean, So anyway, I thought to myself, like, I want handles like that too. They're not going to be Joe's handles, but I like them and I'd like to use them myself as well. So I started looking into, this idea that there are these handles that Joe used. So in looking into them, what I learned, this is part of what the research part of it is that what the handles that Joe used, and I'll show you in my collection, I have the same thing. I've also found the same ones, similar. So I can show you what they look like. But the thing that I found out about them is that it's not like they were unique to him. It's not like he made them himself and he decided they were going to be this certain, dimension and this particular type of grip and all that stuff like that. I mean, these were purchased handles that you could buy that would come with, actually with spring apparatus that was sold at the time. And it came with these handles on it. So that's what he used. He used handles that you use to do your springs workout. So before I show my little collection, I'll do a little historical thing, of course. So let's see. So this is a chart that I have. It's a little small, but I have posted this also on my page before. So you can always go back and look at this in my feed. But this is, and I have these handles too. I'll show them during the tour. This is Eugene Sandow's, it attached to the wall. It was made of a bungee cord material, and it has handles, which I have and I'll show. And the particular handles that came with this set had a weight in the handle, a 2-pound weight in each handle. So this chart shows how to use the handle set. It came with 2 different handles actually. One was round and not weighted, and then one had a weight in it. Sean's saying the handles didn't come custom until Gratz started making them. That's right, and I actually that's part of my little tour too that I'm going to do with my collection. So this was Eugene Sandow, and this is late 1800s. And I have a zoom in on parts of that. Let me grab those. This is interesting. So this is like a little detail on that chart. So this is an anatomy piece, and I think there's 2 of these on that chart. So this reminds me of Joe, right? Because he had his anatomy posters in the studio. And what I think is the reason for this is partly to show, this is like a lot of what you would do with the arm springs or the wall unit that Eugene Sandow came up with, right? Like the leg work, the arm position, the spine, right? The musculature. So it's basically showing you what you're developing, right? While using the apparatus. And then I have a couple close-ups. This is cool. So he's holding the handles, and what it shows is, it's hard to see, I think, but you know, his arms are outstretched, and then there's like a line that shows the direction of the movement, a dotted line, and it shows that you would come forward. So it's sort of like a hug a tree that we do in Pilates, forward and back, right, with the arms. His leg position is a little bit like Joe's. Joe would do a lunge, but this is a little bit less than a lunge. So it's different. But you can see where Joe got some of his influence, I think, possibly, right? And now here's another one. So you can see, you know, he starts up, and then there's that, like, the line drawing. So it shows, and there's like a little bit of a dotted line that sweeps down, and it shows where you're supposed to go. So you start up and you pull straight down. So the cord itself was very lightweight, but the weight itself was in the handle. So that's different. You know, in Pilates, we use a spring tension that pulls, and it changes the weight, right, as you pull. And this is the handle has the weight. Sean said, anatomy was originally drawn in functional life positions. Since Joe, it has become the most anatomical position. Yep, I learned that from you, which I think is really cool. Now, this is also from that same set. So this is the weight, the handle, the weighted handle that I have. Actually, the handle set that I have came with this little chart. So this shows you that, you know, this is a little drawing. Developer arranged for use as a chest expander. So you could also use this, you know, if you put one spring or two in between, you could pull, and you could do the chest expander exercises. You didn't need a wall. Okay, so this is also unique, not something that I know that Joe did, as far as, you know, something that you could pull out with your arms like that. He did have the magic circle where you can press in, but not something that you could pull out that wasn't attached to an apparatus elsewhere. Let's see, different. These are, the handles that I have are not exactly like this, but this is what they come from. So you could buy these things called chest expanders, and this says combination wall uni and wall pulley and chest expander. So that's basically like, this is like the future, right? Sandow was late 1800s, and this comes later. So it has the difference here. You can see, right? Sandow had the weight in the handle. This has a light handle, but you can use different springs to create the weight. So one spring is lighter, right? Two springs is heavier. And this is like leaning toward the direction that Joe went in, right? As far as like how you can add tension and resistance by adding springs or subtracting. And then you can see that the person, that little figure, they're using it against a wall, right? Pulling, but they're also using it as a chest expander. So these things came in all different types of handle designs and different spring tensions. You could add, some of them had 5 springs, some of them had 1, some of them had 3, and you can see that the handles had little holes or loops for multiple springs. So you could choose, right, how you're going to use it for whatever exercise or how strong you were. And this is more like the Whiteley. This was the company from back then, long ago, physical culture. This is more like the kind of handle that I have in my collection. So this is a little bit more like what Joe may have purchased as a way to obtain his handles, right? So you can see it has one loop, right? So there would be one pulley in this sense, or for Joe, he would use one spring. And that handle grip, right, that sort of like ergonomic grip for the handle, this is a lot more like the kind of handle that Joe would have used. And this is the kind of handle that I've collected. I have avoided collecting the kind of handles that have like multiple hooks, because that doesn't really fit, you know, in Pilates. We don't add springs to one handle. We just use the one handle and use the springs that we have in the studio. So this is the kind of handle that I've been collecting. Just for fun, really, because I got into it. No other reason. And let's see, I got one more thing I could show before I do the handles. This is a little cartoon, right? So what this shows is, you can see that the person there on the left, what they're using is, it's actually like a rollback bar. He's standing on and pushing another rollback bar up, and then there's springs in between. Okay, so, and Actually, I think that Joe may have used something like this apparatus. Not that he invented it, but he actually had something like this that he used himself. Probably, maybe he purchased it, right? So this was a way to use this apparatus, was with the springs and 2 bars. You could also take the springs and make a chest expander. And then down at the bottom, what you can see, well, actually, if you look up here where it says that little word free, you can see there's the handles that are just metal, and they have just a flat metal piece, and they don't have a thing for your hand to hold on to, right? So what those handles were for was actually for your feet. So if you look down at the bottom, that person is actually using this apparatus as like a rower. So you put your feet in the handle that didn't have a grip, and then you hold the handle that does have a grip, and you can pull back and forth and sort of become like a rowing machine with yourself, right, with the springs. So these are all different types of things that were around before and during Joe's lifetime that used handles and springs and the wall and yourself and all these different configurations that were being sold. And probably where Joe got his handles from. He probably, that's my guess, is that he purchased something like this and then he would get his handles, okay? So now let me take this away. And I'm gonna take you to my springs collection, my handles collection. So let me do a little flippy here. There we go. I have everything all laid out. But one thing I have to do, hold on. If I don't spoil the surprise, so I have to pick one up because I didn't leave it on the mat. Okay, so I'm going to start down here. So this is an example of, I'm trying to hold my iPad well. This is the spring. This actually, I left the spring on. Thank you, Vicky. I left the spring on. This is like the chest expanders, like what I was showing, right? So it has the spring, and you could attach the other handle to it, right, and pull. So these handles are different. These are pretty unique, I think, in themselves. They're like rounded and plastic, and they have like a little bit of a detail there. And then they're metal, right? I don't know, they're a little awkward. I can't say that I think they're great. They're just a little, I don't know, they're a little bit of an awkward grip, okay? But I thought they were different, so I got those, okay? So those are one set. Now these are, I just couldn't resist these. I think these are for like a little kid, but they have, this one does have 3 separate hooks for the springs, okay? And then there's Superman, right? And it has this nice grip, actually. It's a little bit curved, and there's this groove here, so it's like not so slippery, right, in your hands. And then you can hold on to it like that. But it hits an adult's hand, so that's why it must be for a child, right, maybe. But on one side, there's Superman, and then on the other side, there's Batman. So you can see who you want to be that day and use those. So I think those are really fun. I just had to get them. So now here's another set, and these are blue, okay, different. So I thought they were cool. And these are more like what Joe had, right? So this type of grip in the middle, so you could fit an adult hand, and then the handle itself doesn't really hit you on your wrist, right? That's comfortable. Okay, so those are cool. Where's Robin? I don't know. I don't even know if Batman and Superman, are they friends? I don't even know. Some early grippers have that design. Awesome. So there's someone here, Strongman Archaeology. So if you guys want to check out his page, it's really cool. He's got a really cool collection also of physical culture, memorabilia and weights and all kinds of stuff. So I'm a fan of his page, so nice to have him here. I don't make these at all, who just asked that. These are vintage. I don't know what the year for these would be. Some of these are probably like 60s, I would think. Maybe something like that for these two. This itself these are from Sandow, so these are 1800s. These are very old. These are really heavy also. So it has this padding here. This is actually kind of padded inside. And I have to say these are actually really, really comfortable. So it's curved, and then it attaches to the spring, and you can push out like that. And I like these a lot, actually. This is the one, so these and this came together. Okay, these are the Sandow ones. So it says Sandows on the side, 2 pounds. And this is like just so beautifully made, right? So that's wood with the metal inlay, and it says 2 pounds. I don't know, it feels a little heavier than that, but these are super cool. These are my favorite ones. So those are neat to have, you know, from so long ago. Then there's these, which are weird, I think, but I got them because they were a little different. Let me just unhook this if I can. So this is like an oval, and it has this sort of like grippy material. And they rotate really easily. You know, somebody had this idea. I don't know. I can't say that these are great. Okay, they're a little too lightweight and slightly awkward in the hand. It's not that great, but different, and you know, fun to find these different things. I find it fun anyway. These I thought were super cool. So this is like, there's a loud background noise. It must be the heater. I can turn that off. Let me take a break. Let me turn that off. If it's loud. It's not loud for me, but if it sounds loud to you, then I'll turn it off. Hang on. All right. It's going to take a minute, but it should turn off. So now, this is the next one. So this is like that sort of nice grip, right? And again, you know, this looks really big on the camera, I think, but it's just a regular size handle. So these are nice. I got those because I hadn't seen that like that before. It was like really shiny, but like this, they had a like old wood look to it. So I thought those were cool. Now this is getting a little bit more like what Joe used, that Sean has, but not exactly. So this is the red, okay, like what Joe had. He had red. And then, which one's Joseph? These? I think so, but these are too. So they all are. So this is like a nice grip. This is the familiar Joe handle, right, that he had. So I got these. But now this one is more like, a little bit more like the ones that Sean has from that Joe used. So they have the ridges, okay, for grip. The metal wire handle, 1 loop for a spring, and that's how you hold on. Okay, so thankfully Sean has those, and we know what Joe had. So thank you for that, Sean. So this is my whole collection. Well, actually, it's not my whole collection. This is part of it. I have more at home that I didn't bring, but I brought all of these. So maybe I'll do part 2 at some point. But anyway, I wanted to now move on to the Gratz styles. Okay, so this is an old handle. I'm not sure when this was. I don't know when these are from. These are fairly old, but I guess probably, I don't know. I would say early 90s maybe, or something, these ones. These are the like triangle, right? So let me unhook that. Right, so these are my favorite ones, I think. So they're nice, they hold nice, and they don't hurt on your wrist, and it's a nice feeling, okay? Like those a lot. The weird thing about these is that this is thicker than that one. So, you know, you just deal with it. I do. I guess I am the crazy handle lady, Angela, but you know what? That's fine. I'm fine with that. So now then Gratz moved on to this style. I don't know why they changed the style. I'd like to know that, just out of curiosity, but this was the one, they did this one, and then they moved on to this rounded one. So some people love this kind. I happen to not really love it, because it sort of bothers me, kind of my wrist, but they went from this to this. Then they went on to leather. So Sean, you think these are 80s, if not earlier? Is that what you're saying? I just wasn't sure. So they went from this one to this, then to leather. Okay, and leather's nice for comfortable, but for me, for feedback, as far as all the way up from the wrist to the shoulder, I do find these to be the best. It's just my personal choice, right? But we have this nice array of choices that we can use here. And now this one, we also have, these are actually Pilates lineage handles, but these Russell makes, right? So he made these actually according to the size of the handles that Sean has, that from Joe. So that's how Russell got this sizing for this, okay? And then he made the wooden handle, okay? Okay, so Sean's saying this is 80s, so that's helpful. So I say 80s, 90s, later 90s probably. And now we went back to this because of, I think mostly because of interest, more recent interest in archival things, right? So this is going back closer to what Joe had, right? So this is really like the history of handles, right? For a spring apparatus. All right, I'm going to do a little flip back. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. I can bring more another time from home, and then I'll do round 2. And I have a couple other things that I was thinking I could do some tours with. You are welcome, Rachel. I just felt like doing that for fun. Are the triangle ones for my old reformer? Yes, Patty, those are. Yep, they are. Yeah, so Sean is saying the leather one was first made by Steve Giordano. So I think that what Sean had said, what I remember, Sean, from what you told me, was that he made the first leather set, and then the manufacturers began making it like that out of leather. But first they started out with metal. Thanks, James, for the superb collection. That's great to hear. I appreciate that. And you're welcome, Joanne. Grats and everyone copied afterwards. Yeah. I mean, they are comfortable. The leather's comfortable, I think. But it does give you a little bit leeway for error, I find. That's the only problem, I think, is that you don't get the same exact pressure of the metal on your wrist. So if you're doing something and if it's soft, it gives you don't necessarily feel it quite as much as if you had that metal across, and then you can realize if you're out of alignment or something. That's how I feel with it. So they're all different, and it's, we've got all these choices. So, sometimes I use the old ones just for fun when I'm doing my arm springs. So it's nice to do that. So thanks so much for joining me today. And I hope that you'll join me next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll do something. I have another idea of something I might bring out, so we'll see if I do. Vicki, you can try any of them this weekend. Sean and I have a workshop this Sunday, if anyone's interested in coming. It's on the bench mat. It's going to be here at my studio, York Pilates, and it's from 10 to 4 on Sunday the 12th. And we're going to be going over the bench mat exercises and some mat exercises also on the bench mat. And Russell from Pilates Lineage will also be joining us. And it should be great. I'm looking forward to it. I know Vicki and Rachel, who are here now, will be there, and Patty. So we'll have a good time, I think, this weekend. It'll be great to see everybody. I'm waiting for my archival handles and want to see the difference. You want to feel the difference, Rosalie? Is that what you mean? Definitely feels different. My favorite thing to do with the archival handles is the arm springs standing. And well, any arm springs, really. Yeah, I think that they feel great. And then the pedipole too. It's really nice to use those. So they're great. Cool. Thanks, everybody. So I will see you next week, if not sooner. And thanks for joining me. Okay, bye.